The next 6 hours passed in a blur of activity and strange discoveries. Marcus had barely left his station, his eyes red from staring at screens filled with data that seemed to change every time he looked away. The signal from the unknown aliens had stabilized after Horizon Point's response, but now something even stranger was happening to the crew. Dr. Helen Grant arrived in the command center looking tired and concerned. She was the station's chief medical officer, a calm woman in her early 40s who rarely showed worry. Right now, she looked genuinely troubled. "Laura, I need to talk to you about the crew," Helen said quietly, pulling the captain aside. "In the last 3 hours, 17 people have come to Medical Bay reporting the same symptoms. They say they are feeling emotions that do not belong to them." Laura felt her chest tighten. "What kind of emotions?" "Fear, mostly," Helen replied, "but also hope and desperation. They describe it as feeling like someone else's feelings are bleeding into their own minds. The strange thing is, they all started experiencing this right after we sent our response to that signal." "Are they in danger?" Laura asked. "I do not think so," Helen said slowly. "Their physical health is fine, but their brain scans are showing unusual activity in areas we associate with empathy and emotional processing. It is like those parts of their brains suddenly became much more active." Before Laura could respond, Paul Martinez rushed into the command center, carrying a data pad and looking excited. Paul was usually the most relaxed person on the station, always making jokes even during problems. Seeing him this energized was unusual. "Captain, you need to see this," Paul said, practically shoving the data pad into Laura's hands. "The power anomalies are not random. I have been tracking them for the last few hours, and they spike whenever someone on the station feels strongly about helping whoever sent that signal." Laura looked at the graphs on the pad. Sure enough, there were clear patterns. "How is this possible?" "I have no idea," Paul admitted. "But it gets better. Or weirder, depending on how you look at it. Our systems are not just producing more power. They are becoming more efficient. The life support is running smoother than it has in months. The sensors are picking up details they should not be able to detect. It is like the whole station is trying harder because we are trying harder." Marcus looked up from his workstation. "Captain, I think I have something. The signal is not just a cry for help. It contains information, but it is encoded in a way I have never seen before. The meaning is tied to emotional context. I have managed to extract a few key pieces." "Tell me," Laura said, moving to stand beside him. Marcus pulled up a screen showing patterns of light and sound. "The beings who sent this are called the Velcora. Their ship is badly damaged. They are stranded and drifting toward a dangerous area of space. They cannot repair their systems in time to escape." He paused, looking uncomfortable. "Captain, they are dying. Maybe 3 or 4 of them left alive. And they are terrified." Laura felt the fear hit her like a physical wave. For a moment, she could almost see through other eyes, feel the cold certainty of approaching death, the desperate hope that someone might hear and care enough to help. She gasped and steadied herself against the console. "Captain, are you all right?" Ryan asked, jumping up from his seat. "I felt them," Laura whispered. "Just for a second I felt what they are feeling." Helen immediately pulled out a medical scanner and ran it over Laura. "Your brain activity just spiked exactly like the others who reported symptoms. Whatever is happening, it is affecting you too." Marcus was staring at his screens with wide eyes. "The Velcora ship just appeared on our long-range sensors. They are approximately 6 hours away at maximum speed, but they are drifting toward an asteroid field. If they enter that field in their damaged condition, they will be torn apart." Laura did not hesitate. "Plot an intercept course. How fast can we get a rescue shuttle to them?" "Captain," Ryan said carefully, "we still have not received authorization from Earth Command. If we launch a rescue mission without permission, there could be serious consequences." Laura turned to face her communications officer. "Ryan, I understand your concern. But those people out there are going to die if we do nothing. I will take full responsibility for this decision. Now plot that course." Ryan nodded and began working. "At maximum speed, we can reach them in 5 hours. But Captain, our shuttles are not designed for rescue operations near asteroid fields. It will be dangerous. Find me our best pilot," Laura ordered. Paul spoke up. That would be Jamie North. She can fly anything. 20 minutes later, Jamie North stood in the command center, listening to the briefing. She was a short woman with sharp eyes and steady hands, known throughout the station for her incredible piloting skills. She listened to everything without interrupting, then simply nodded. I can get to them, Jamie said confidently. But I will need the shuttle systems pushed beyond normal limits. Can engineering handle that, Paul? With the way our equipment has been acting today, I think the shuttle will perform better than ever, Paul said with a slight smile. It is like the machines want to help too. As preparations began for the rescue mission, Marcus made another discovery. Captain, I have been analyzing the way our equipment is responding. I think the Velcora signal did something to us. It did not just call for help. It woke something up inside humans, something that was always there but sleeping. What do you mean? Laura asked. I mean that humans might have abilities we never knew about, Marcus said slowly. The Velcora seemed to communicate partially through emotion and intention. When we received their signal and genuinely wanted to help, it triggered a response in us. We are starting to sense their feelings. Our intentions are affecting our technology. This is not normal, Captain. This is something new. Or maybe something very, very old that we forgot we could do. Helen checked her datapad. I am now getting reports from all over the station. Almost half the crew is experiencing some level of empathic sensation. They can feel the Velcora's fear and hope. And Marcus, you are right. Or the people who feel it strongest are the ones who care most deeply about saving them. Laura looked around at her crew, seeing the determination in their faces. Whatever was happening to them, whatever strange abilities were waking up, they were all united in one goal. They were going to save the Velcora, no matter what it took. Jamie, how soon can you launch? Laura asked. Jamie checked her chronometer. 30 minutes, Captain. Then let us bring our new friends home, Laura said. She felt that wave of hope again, but this time she knew it was not just her own. Somewhere out in the dark, the Velcora had felt her decision. They knew help was coming. And somehow, impossibly, Laura knew they were holding on just a little bit longer. Jamie North sat in the pilot seat of the rescue shuttle, her hands moving across the controls with practiced ease. She had flown through dangerous situations before, but nothing quite like this. Behind her, two medical technicians and engineer Paul Martinez were strapped in, ready to help with the rescue. Horizon Point, this is Rescue 1, Jamie said into her communication headset. We are approaching the Velcora vessel. Visual contact in 30 seconds. Laura's voice came back through the speaker. Copy that, Rescue 1. Be careful out there, Jamie. As the damaged alien ship came into view, Jamie felt her breath catch. The vessel was unlike anything she had ever seen. It was graceful even in its broken state, with curved lines that reminded her of a bird's wing. But large sections of the hull were torn open, and debris floated around it in a slow, deadly dance. Worse, the ship was already entering the outer edge of the asteroid field. This is going to be close, Jamie muttered. She could see an asteroid the size of a building drifting toward the alien vessel. At their current trajectories, they would collide in less than 10 minutes. Then something strange happened. Jamie felt a sudden, overwhelming sense of where she needed to be. It was not a thought exactly, more like an instinct that went deeper than words. Her hands moved on the controls before her conscious mind even made a decision, guiding the shuttle through a gap between two asteroids that she should not have been able to see from her angle. How did you do that? Paul asked from behind her, his voice full of surprise. You just flew through a space that our sensors said was too narrow. Jamie did not answer right away. She was too focused on the feeling growing stronger inside her. She could sense the Velcora now, feel their desperate hope, their fear, and something else. Gratitude. They knew she was coming for them. I can feel where they need me to be, Jamie said quietly. I know this sounds crazy, but it is like they are guiding me somehow. She pushed the shuttle harder, making turns that should have been impossible at this speed. The ship responded perfectly, as if it understood what she needed it to do. Within minutes, she had maneuvered alongside the damaged Velcora vessel, matching its tumbling rotation. Paul, can you get a docking seal on that airlock? Jamie asked. Paul studied his screens, then shook his head. The hull is too damaged. A normal seal will not hold. But give me a minute. I have an idea. Jamie watched in her rear display as Paul worked quickly, attaching extra magnetic clamps to their docking collar. The whole time, she kept the shuttle perfectly positioned, making tiny adjustments that seemed to come from instinct rather than training. She could feel the Velcora inside the dying ship, could sense their weakness, their fading hope. "Hold on," Jamie whispered, though she did not know if she was talking to her crew or to the aliens. "Just hold on a little longer." "Seal is ready," Paul announced. "It is not pretty, but it will work." The docking process took 3 precious minutes. Through the whole procedure, Jamie felt the Velcora's presence in her mind, growing stronger as they got closer. When the airlock finally opened, she unstrapped and rushed to join Paul and the medical team. The sight that greeted them made Jamie's heart ache. 3 Velcora lay on the floor of what looked like their control room. They were smaller than humans, with long limbs and large eyes that seemed to glow faintly in the dim emergency lighting. Their skin had a pale blue tint, and they wore suits that looked torn and burned. The medical technicians immediately went to work, scanning the aliens with portable equipment. One of the Velcora, slightly larger than the others, lifted its head weakly. When its eyes met Jamie's, she felt a rush of emotion so strong she almost fell. "Thank you," the feeling seemed to say. "Thank you for caring enough to come." "We need to move them now," one of the medical technicians said urgently. "Their life signs are weak." Working together, the rescue team carefully lifted the 3 Velcora and carried them back to the shuttle. Just as they secured the last one, the whole alien ship shuddered violently. An asteroid had struck the far end of the vessel. "Time to go," Paul said firmly. Jamie ran back to the pilot seat and disengaged the docking clamps. She pulled the shuttle away from the dying ship just as another asteroid smashed into it, sending pieces flying in all directions. Her hands flew across the controls, dodging debris that her sensors could barely track. But somehow, she knew where each piece would be, could feel the safe path through the chaos. The shuttle cleared the asteroid field 8 minutes later. Jamie let out a breath she had not realized she was holding. "Horizon Point, this is Rescue 1, she said, her voice shaking slightly. We have all 3 Velcora. They are alive. We are coming home." The cheer that came back through the speaker made Jamie smile despite her exhaustion. Back on Horizon Point, Laura waited anxiously in the docking bay with Marcus and Helen. When the shuttle doors opened and she saw the Velcora being carried out on stretchers, she felt tears spring to her eyes. They had done it. Against all odds, they had saved them. As the medical team rushed the aliens toward the medical bay, one of the Velcora reached out a long, delicate hand toward Laura. She took it gently, and the moment their skin touched, her mind filled with images and feelings. She saw the Velcora homeworld, beautiful and strange. She felt their gratitude, deeper than any words could express. And then she saw something that made her gasp. A memory, but not from the Velcora's life. An ancient memory of Earth thousands of years ago when humans glowed with the same kind of light the Velcora had. When humans could touch minds and feel each other's emotions as clearly as their own. The Velcora's thoughts came through clearly now, not in words, but in pure meaning. "We knew humans once had this gift. Our ancient records spoke of it. We sent our call to you hoping it might wake again. We were dying, but we believed if any species would care enough to help strangers, it would be humans. Your compassion called forth your sleeping power." Laura looked down at the Velcora, understanding flooding through her. The distress call was not just asking for rescue. It was a key, unlocking something we lost long ago. The Velcora's large eyes seemed to smile. "Yes, okay, and now that it has awakened in you, it will spread. Other humans will feel it too. Your gift is empathy that bridges all differences. The ability to understand and care for others, even those completely unlike you. That is humanity's hidden power." As the medical team took the Velcora away for treatment, Marcus stepped beside Laura, his face full of wonder. "Captain, do you realize what this means? Everything just changed. For humanity, for all of us. We are not alone anymore, and we are not the same people we were yesterday." Laura nodded slowly, watching the medical bay doors close. Marcus was right. They had answered a distress call and saved 3 lives. But in doing so, they had awakened something far greater. The question now was, what would they do with this newfound power? And how would the galaxy react when they learned what humanity had become? 3 days passed, and Horizon Point had become something entirely new. The 3 Velcora survivors were recovering in the medical bay, their strength slowly returning under Helen's careful treatment. But the changes happening to the human crew were spreading faster than anyone could have predicted. Laura stood in the command center, reading reports from Earth and the other human colonies. The news was spreading like wildfire. People everywhere were reporting the same experiences. They could feel emotions that were not their own. They knew when loved ones were in trouble, even across vast distances. Some reported dreams filled with feelings and images from the Velcora. "Captain, we have another incoming transmission," Ryan said, looking up from his console. This one is from deep space. The signal signature matches Velcora technology." Laura felt her pulse quicken. "Put it through." The main screen flickered to life, showing a Velcora who looked older than the survivors they had rescued. Its skin had deeper blue tones, and its eyes held ancient wisdom. When it spoke, the words came not just through the speakers but seemed to form directly in Laura's mind, translated by the empathic connection that now felt natural. "I am Elder Chantel of the Velcora Unity," the being said, its voice gentle but carrying great weight. "We received the distress call from our lost ship and felt the moment your people saved them. The gratitude of our entire civilization flows to you. We are coming to meet you, to thank you properly, and to speak of what your awakening means." Laura stepped forward. "Elder Chantel, we are honored, but we have many questions. What has happened to my people? What is this power that has awakened in us?" The elder's expression seemed sad and hopeful at the same time. "What you are experiencing is empathic resonance, the ability to feel and share emotions across vast distances and between different species. Your people had this gift long ago, in your ancient past, but you lost it as your civilization grew, and you began to rely more on spoken words and technology than on feeling and connection." Marcus had been listening intently. Now he spoke up. "Why did it come back now? What did your distress call do to us?" "It did nothing except call out in genuine need," Elder Chantel explained. "But when your people responded with true compassion, when you risked everything to save strangers you had never met, that act of pure empathy created a bridge. The distress of our dying crew and your determination to help them resonated on a level deeper than technology or language. It reminded your sleeping abilities what they were meant for: connection, understanding, caring for others as deeply as you care for yourselves." Laura felt the truth of those words in her bones. Over the past 3 days, she had felt connected to her crew in ways she never had before. She knew when Ryan was worried about his family back on Earth. She could sense Paul's excitement every time he discovered something new about how their enhanced abilities affected the station's systems. She felt Helen's deep satisfaction whenever one of the Velcora showed improvement. "Elder Chantel, what happens now?" Laura asked. What does this mean for humanity's place in the galaxy?" The elder was quiet for a moment. "That is part of why I am coming to speak with you in person. You should know that you are not alone in having such abilities. Many species in the galaxy possess psychic gifts of various kinds. The Velcora have empathic sensitivity. The court can communicate across star systems through thought alone. The Minari can sense the future in fragments and possibilities." "Then we will have friends out here," Laura said, feeling hopeful. "Yes," Elder Chantel agreed, "but you will also face challenges. There is a powerful empire called the Sarketh Dominion. They view all psychically awakened species as potential threats to their control. They have systems and methods designed to suppress or control such abilities, while when they learn what has happened to humanity, they will come." A chill ran down Laura's spine. "Are they dangerous?" "Very," the elder said gravely. "But there is also an alliance, the Free Worlds Coalition, made up of independent psychic species who have resisted the Dominion's control. The Velcora are founding members. If humanity wishes, you would be welcome to join us. Together, we are strong enough to maintain our freedom. Before Laura could respond, one of the rescued Velkara entered the command center, walking slowly but steadily. It was the one who had reached out to Laura during the rescue. Helen followed close behind, monitoring her patient carefully. "Captain Bennett," the Velkara said, its voice soft but clear. "I am Kiradan. I wanted to thank you myself now that I have strength to stand. Not you saved our lives when you had no reason to do so except kindness. That is a rare thing in the galaxy." Laura smiled warmly. "We could not leave you to die, Kiradan. It would not have been right." Kiradan moved closer, and Laura felt waves of gratitude and affection flowing from the alien. "May I share something with you? A memory from our records?" Laura nodded, curious. Kiradan reached out and gently touched Laura's hand. Immediately, her mind filled with visions. She saw Earth as it had been 10,000 years ago. Early humans living in small groups, connected to each other through feelings and shared thoughts. She saw them care for each other with an intensity that modern humans had forgotten. She watched as they slowly lost this gift over generations, as they built cities and technologies, as words replaced feelings, and individual thought replaced shared consciousness. But she also saw something else, a prediction in the ancient Velkara records. A belief that one day, when humanity had grown enough in wisdom and technology, when they were ready to join the galactic community, their empathic gift would return. Not as it had been before, primitive and limited, but evolved and powerful. Strong enough to bridge the gap between species that had never been bridged before. "You see," Kiradan said softly as the visions faded, "humans have a unique form of empathic resonance. Other species can feel their own kind across distances. But humans, your gift is different. You can understand and connect with any species, even ones completely unlike yourselves. You can feel what we feel, understand what we need. You care about our well-being as much as your own. That is your hidden power. Not just empathy, but universal empathy. The ability to make family out of strangers." Marcus was frantically taking notes. "That explains why our abilities manifested when we tried to save you. It was not just about having psychic power. It was about using that power the way it was meant to be used. To connect, to understand, to help." Elder Chantel spoke again from the screen. "Exactly right, Dr. Hill. And that is why the Sarketh fear you. Their empire is built on keeping species separate and controlled. But humanity's gift threatens that foundation. If you can make different species understand and care for each other, their empire of division cannot stand." Laura looked around at her crew, seeing the determination in their faces. Then she looked at Kiradan, feeling the warm connection between them. She thought about all the humans across space who were waking up to these new abilities, learning to feel and connect in ways they never had before. "Elder Chantel," Laura said firmly, "how long until you arrive at Horizon Point?" "Our fleet will reach you in 2 days," the Elder replied. "Good," Laura said, "because I think humanity has a decision to make, and we should make it together. We need to decide what kind of people we want to be now that we remember what we truly are." The Velkara fleet arrived exactly 2 days later, just as Elder Chantel had promised. Laura watched from the observation deck as 7 graceful ships took up positions around Horizon Point. They were beautiful vessels, each one decorated with flowing patterns that seemed to shift and change in the light. But the Velkara were not the only ones who had come. Within hours of their arrival, another fleet appeared on the sensors. These ships were different, angular and dark, bristling with weapons. Ryan's face went pale as he identified them. "Captain, those are Sarketh Dominion warships," he said, his voice tight with worry. 12 of them, heavily armed. They are hailing us." Laura took a deep breath, feeling the concern flowing from her crew. She also felt something else, a calm confidence coming from the Velkara ships. "Put them through, Ryan." The screen showed a Sarketh commander. The alien was tall and covered in dark scales, with cold eyes that seemed to calculate everything they saw. When it spoke, its voice was formal and without warmth. "I am Commander Zarthek of the Sarketh Dominion. We have been monitoring the psychic awakening among your species. According to Dominion law, all newly awakened psychic species must submit to evaluation and regulation. You will allow our specialists aboard your station to assess your abilities and begin training you in proper control and suppression techniques. Laura felt anger rise in her chest, but she kept her voice calm. Commander, humanity is a free species. We do not recognize the authority of the Dominion to regulate our abilities or our people. Zarthek's expression did not change. Then you choose to be classified as a rogue psychic threat. The Dominion cannot allow uncontrolled empathic abilities to spread through the galaxy. It creates instability and threatens the natural order of species separation. Before Laura could respond, the Elder Chantel's voice came through on a shared channel. Commander Zarthek, the Velkara Unity speaks for humanity in this matter. They have applied to join the Free Worlds Coalition, and we have accepted them. Any action against them is an action against all Coalition members. The Coalition has no legal standing, Zarthek replied coldly. You are a group of rebels who refuse to accept proper authority. Stand aside or face consequences. Laura made a quick decision. Marcus, Kiradon, I need you both here right now. Ryan, open a channel to all ships in the area, Velkara and Sarketh both. Within minutes, Marcus and Kiradon stood beside her. Laura could feel the Velkara's calm support flowing through their connection. She looked at her crew, seeing their trust in her, their willingness to stand together no matter what came. This is Captain Laura Bennett of Horizon Point, she said clearly. Commander Zarthek, you say our abilities need to be controlled and suppressed, but I think you fear them for a different reason. You fear what happens when different species can truly understand each other. Your naivety is showing, Captain, Zarthek said dismissively. Different species are meant to remain separate. It is the natural order. Laura felt something building inside her, a warmth that came from every human on the station and from the Velkara ships nearby. She realized they were all connecting, all focusing their empathic energy together. Let me show you what humanity's gift really means. She reached out with her mind, not just to her crew or to the Velkara, but to everyone in the area. She felt the other humans on the station linking with her, on their empathic resonance growing stronger as they united. Then the Velkara joined them, their ancient abilities blending with humanity's newly awakened power. Together they created something unprecedented. A psychic shield that wrapped around Horizon Point, woven from pure empathy and shared understanding. The Sarketh tried to push through it with their own mental techniques, cold and calculating. But they could not break something built from genuine connection and care. Zarthek's eyes widened with shock. This is impossible. Your abilities should not be this strong. You awakened only days ago. Kiradon stepped forward, speaking to both fleets. You misunderstand the nature of humanity's gift, Commander. It does not grow from individual power. It grows from connection. The more they care, the more they connect with others. The stronger they become. And they can connect with anyone, any species. Even you, if you would allow it. Laura felt the truth of Kiradon's words. Their shield was not strong because individual humans were powerful. It was strong because they were all working together, humans and Velkara united in the desire to protect each other. At that moment, another voice joined the conversation. It came from Earth, transmitted across the vast distance. Admiral Kevin Price, commander of Earth's defense fleet, appeared on the screen. He was an older man with gray hair and steady eyes. Commander Zarthek, this is Admiral Price of the Earth Defense Force. I have been in communication with the Free Worlds Coalition and with our people at Horizon Point. I am here to deliver Earth's official decision regarding our new abilities and our place in the galaxy. Everyone waited, the tension thick enough to cut. Laura held her breath. Humanity chooses freedom, Admiral Price said firmly. We choose to join the Free Worlds Coalition. We choose to develop our abilities in our own way, using them to build connections rather than walls between species. And we will defend that choice with everything we have. Laura felt tears spring to her eyes as she sensed the emotions flowing from Earth. Not just from Admiral Price, but from billions of humans who had awakened to their empathic gifts. They all felt the same determination, the same desire to use their abilities to help others, to understand those different from themselves. Zarthek's scales seemed to darken with anger. You are making a grave mistake. The Dominion will not forget this defiance. And we will not forget who our friends are, Laura said quietly. She looked at the Velcora ships, feeling the bonds of gratitude and affection that now connected their species. The Velcora sent a distress call, and we answered because it was the right thing to do. They have given us back a gift we had lost. Now we stand together. Elder Chantel spoke again, its voice full of warmth. The Free Worlds Coalition welcomes humanity. Together, we will show the galaxy that connection is stronger than control, that understanding is more powerful than fear. The Sarketh fleet held position for another tense minute. Then, slowly, they began to withdraw. Zarthek's final words were cold with promise. This is not over, Captain Bennett. The Dominion will be watching. As the Sarketh ships disappeared into faster-than-light travel, Laura felt the tension drain away. The psychic shield dissolved, but the connections remained. She could still feel her crew, the Velkara, and faintly, like distant stars, other humans across space who shared these new abilities. Marcus was grinning widely. Captain, do you realize what we just did? We created a multi-species psychic network that defended against one of the most powerful empires in the galaxy. And we did it with abilities we have only had for a few days. Laura smiled, looking out at the Velcora ships. We did more than that, Marcus. We proved that Kiradan was right. Humanity's hidden power is not just empathy. It is the ability to turn strangers into friends, to build families across species lines, to care so deeply for others that we become stronger together than we ever could be alone. Helen joined them at the window, her medical scanner still in hand. I have been monitoring everyone during that confrontation. The empathic connections you all formed did not fade. They are becoming permanent bonds. Humans and Velkara, linked by genuine friendship. Kiradan moved to stand beside Laura, its large eyes reflecting the stars outside. Our people have a saying, the strongest light shines when many flames burn together. Humanity remembered how to be that light. And now, you will help teach the galaxy what we have forgotten, that we are all stronger when we choose connection over isolation. Laura thought about everything that had happened since that first distress call arrived. They had broken regulations, risked their lives, and awakened abilities that had slept for thousands of years. And in doing so, they had found something precious. Not just power, but purpose. Not just abilities, but the chance to use those abilities to make the galaxy a better place. Elder Chantel, Laura said, opening a channel to the Velcora flagship. I think it is time we started planning. Humanity has a lot to learn about our abilities and our new place in the galaxy, and we have much to offer in return. The Elder's warm laughter filled the channel. Indeed, Captain Bennett. Welcome to the Free Worlds Coalition. Welcome to a galaxy of friends waiting to be made. Your journey has just begun, and I believe it will be extraordinary. As Laura looked out at the stars, feeling the connections that now bound her to people across vast distances and different species, she knew the Elder was right. Humanity's hidden power had been awakened by a simple distress call and an even simpler choice to help someone in need. Now that power would change everything, one connection at a time, one act of kindness at a time, one bridge between species at a time. The age of isolation was ending. The age of connection had begun.